Wine, often confused to be an emulator. It's actually an acronym that stands for Wine is not an emulator. It's a compatibility layer for POSIX compliant systems such as Linux, macOS, and BSD, translating Windows calls into calls that the aforementioned OSs can understand. Without Wine, trying to run a Windows app on Linux is like making calls to your crush who doesn't know you exist, and the Windows app crashes like your car into this tree. Remember, Wine is not an emulator. Here I've already installed Wine version 9.22, which is the latest pre-compiled version of Wine for Manjaro at the time this was recorded. I use Arch, by the way. I'm also using version 2024-0105 of Winetricks. Winetricks is used to modify Wine for better compatibility. Firstly, update your dusty system. Next, we install Wine with wine-gecko and wine-mono. wine-gecko runs apps that depend on Internet Explorer components, while Mono allows you to run applications or games that use .NET. I already have these installed, so your installation process will look a little bit different. Lastly, for Arch, one must take an introspective look at oneself and realize that Arch is only for those who enjoy kicking the corner of the table with their pinky toe recreationally. After that, we'll install Winetricks. Winetricks allows you to install additional Windows components for improved compatibility. We'll do it a little bit differently for Debian-based systems because they're usually slower to update than a tortoise on melatonin. This method allows us to install the latest version of Wine. If we try to install the pre-compiled version of Wine that is released with your Debian distribution, we will get a much older version. The first step is to enable 32-bit architecture. Then we add the winehq repo key followed by the winehq repo. Refresh your package lists with an update and finally install the stable branch of Wine. This might take a while because apt is slower than an elderly person in the fast lane when you're rushing home to take a poo. So take this time during your install to drop a log. There is a way to speed up apt, and that's by using nano, which is a front end for apt. It allows apt to download in parallel. You can use the wine version command to check if wine is installed correctly. Now open wine-confg to complete the setup of wine. Follow the prompts for the install and you can close winecfg when everything is done. Last for Debian, install Winetricks. This will just be the standard precompiled version for your distro. It should work just fine. Follow these instructions if it doesn't. Oh my god, that gave me a heart attack. Anyway, in order to run a Windows app, you want to be in the same directory as the app and type wine and the program name like you see here, then hit enter. Here's an example where I will install the Windows version of VLC. Navigate to the folder of the app you want to run using either your GUI or terminal, then type wine and the program's name and hit enter. Now watch this work harder than a child in a Congolese mine. Go through the installation as you normally would on Windows. forgot to show it working, so I'll open it from the install directory so you know I'm not cheating like my friend Clara. After you install a Windows app, it should appear amongst your other apps in your app drawer. This is wine configuration. If you have a compatibility problem, you can fix it with wine configuration. We can take one of these and set it to use Windows ME. Next time you try to start it, Wine will remember your stupid decision and will try to start the app with the version of Windows you selected. Wine configuration deals with the core settings of Wine. I won't be going over every tab here as they're mostly self-explanatory. Just click around and explore. If you try to start an app or game and it shows that there are some missing components, you can usually find them in winetricks. I once had missing text in FL Studio 20 on my other system. This trivial problem was solved in a mere 4 hours when I installed the missing font through winetricks and all the text came back unlike my father.
Sometimes my genius is... it's almost frightening.
Select the default wine prefix for now. Here we can see a list of things you can do. Many compatibility issues can be solved by simply installing the missing DLL or font or by editing the registry. For example, simply click Install Windows DLL, find the DLL you're looking for and click OK, and there will be an installation process. Play around in winetricks and explore the different options they give you. I will say that if you're running an app that requires a lot of changes, you should use wine prefixes. This is to prevent dependency conflicts. It helps when experimenting with different setups as well, so you don't mess up your default prefix. Select Create a new wine prefix. Select an architecture. Give it a name. The text next to that red sign would be concerning if I could read. Click OK. Now your app or game has its own dungeon in which you can inflict any manner of DLL or font upon it without disturbing the default wine prefix. Fun fact, the quokka is an animal from Australia that will throw its baby out of her pouch when being chased by a predator so she can save herself. I love nature.
Give me the person.